Hello folks, Brian Manzella coming to you from the studio in the sky in New Orleans with the Hackmotion wrist sensor. This brilliantly easy to use product can show you in real time what your wrists are doing. Capture a swing showing you the flexion and extension of your left wrist or your lead wrist and your radial and ulnar deviation. It can also play the swing back in a chart or with little tiles in different positions in your swing, and it can provide you with audio feedback right after the swing. Let's show you how easy it is to use. Go ahead and hit a stock shot right here. Blasted. 200-yard carry even. So let's look at the tile views. Now the tiles are little squares, as you can see right here, familiar to people familiar to TrackMan. At the top is flexion, which is arching, for the old golfer machiners, and extension. Flexion and extension. So, at address, my left wrist is extended. I have mid-body hands, okay? Hands are in the middle of my body. My wrist is extended 30 degrees. So I'm going to do that right now. That's my left wrist at address. At the top of my swing, as you can see here, the top, club reversal, 14 degrees. So I didn't flatten my wrist. So I didn't get these two flat to each other, is one way to look at it. What I did was I had 14 degrees of extension or bending, okay? And then at impact, I had 1 degree. So I actually had my wrist extended a little bit this way, but forward leaning on the shaft. So we'll look at the video of that right now to show you what that looks like. So the second row there with the blue is ulnar and radial deviation. So basically, I like to say stick your thumb up in the air. That's like cocking your wrist. That's like sending a radio signal on an antenna, right? That's radial, and an ulnar is down, okay? So if you look at my address position, you see 35 degrees. So 35 degrees actually down, okay? So neutral would look, that's neutral. And this is me cocking my wrist. This is uncocking. Cocking, uncocking. I radial deviated my left wrist. I added wrist cock 31 degrees from the sort of uncocked address to the cocked at the top. Then I pretty much returned my wrist all the way back. You can see right here, 34 degrees. Okay, and then at the bottom, in the gray tiles, what you're looking at, its durations and timing. My backswing took 0.81 from takeaway to impact. My downswing, club reversal impact, took 0.29, a down the back ratio of 2.8. Now, what I like to look at is the graph, because the graph is going to show me all the way through my swing what my wrists are doing. And as we look at the graph, that's my whole golf swing right there that I just made. Again, a really good shot. On TrackMan, 86.7 miles an hour, pretty good unwarmed up. This will get to about 89, golf course speed. 148 smash really hit well, 92 feet high, 200 even carry, 1.4 feet offline. Had 4.9 spin axis, draw spin. It curved in the air 25 feet. That's kind of how I'm hitting the draws now. This is a 5-iron. And obviously it was a really good shot. Now, when we look at the graph, currently Hackmotion gives you both the flexion extension, which is in green, and the ulnar and radial deviation, which is in blue. We're going to take the blue off so we can look just at the flexion extension. The main thing we want to look at here is from the top to impact, and I want you to look at what happens to my wrists in the downswing. So I start with, at the very top there, 14 degrees extended or bent. 14 degrees, gradually going to 0 degrees, and then I'm starting to arch my wrist or flex my wrist 8 degrees. That gets me to about right here. We'll look at this on video. And then what I do is my left shoulder goes up and I pull up on the handle, and I've added some alpha torque right here. I've learned to really line the club up for impact and have as little alpha torque and impact as possible. And to do that, my wrist is going into extension. Now, when we look at the swing on video, we can see that this is right about where my wrist flattens out, and then I start adding a little roundness. There, right? It's starting to get a little rounder. But you can see I had forward lean. I only had 18 degrees of dynamic loft here, which is really pretty good for a 5-iron. I mean, obviously at 86 miles an hour, I had to lean it the way I did to hit a 92-foot high shot. That's all fine and well on the real good shot. But what about your nemesis shot? In my case, my nemesis is handle dragging. Too much force across the shaft, too long, causing this blowback and me having to try to alpha torque through it. So watch this very different flexion extension graph that kept me from beating anybody. Now, I flushed that ball now, right? I had a 1-5-0 smash as you watch this playback. 1-5-0. Good path and club face and even angle of attack. It only went 63 feet high right there. Okay, I lost 11 yards-ish, right? But the important thing is that this is a different swing, and I tried it for a long time and it didn't work. So here's a comparison look at my stock swing flexion extension and my handle drag flexion extension. As you can see, a tremendous difference. Now let's look at the handle drag swing in full. So as we look at the graph here, the first thing is that I got to flat really early in the backswing and actually was a little flexed, you know, kind of mid backswing, 3 degrees flexed and kind of steady. And then by the time I got to the top, 10 degrees flexed. Now I'm adding all the way down to 15 flexed, and then I just sort of go kind of level, go to 14 and kind of prepare to hit. And here's the handle shove, the dive, adding all the way to 22 and an impact winding up with 16. So you can see the tiles here, 10 degrees of flexion at the top, 16 degrees in impact. I see that, it freaks me out, but it doesn't matter what freaks me out. If you have this device, you're going to be able to get yourself or your student to do anything you want, and you're going to be able to see from swing to swing, little bitty, this is giant changes, but little bitty changes on what they did in both flexion and extension and radial and on the deviation. So to wrap up, folks, the Hackmotion wrist sensor, a super exciting product, affordable to any golf teacher, easy to use. You can use a computer like I'm doing here in the studio, the iOS app out on the range. It's going to be released any day now. And in the future, I'm going to be doing some videos on more things about what the wrists are doing. And I'll show you another great feature, biofeedback. So get your Hackmotion today at hackmotion.com. Thank you so much.